Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk a little bit about some updates on the G0704 and a little bit about anodizing. Just kind of an update on where I'm at with the aluminum. So the first thing you'll notice is I got rid of the t-shirt and now I've got a piece of 1/32 neoprene rubber. This is a it's a 40A durometer. I got this off Amazon. It was like 15 bucks. I'd gotten some suggestions from a couple of people on good, cheap pieces of material that you could use. I didn't go with any of those. Sorry, guys. The stuff I've got down here is a 50 durometer, which means it should be technically stiffer, but it's EPDM instead of neoprene. And so far, I like the EPDM better. It may be harder, but it's more pliable. I don't know how that's possible, but what you'll notice is these are actually tied together. I made this little plate right here so that I could mount everything to the column, but this square foot of neoprene that I bought was too short, and so it ended up eating about 3 inches of my retract, and so I had to just bolt them together for now, and they're not attached to the column. That's not ideal because the way it's set up, if this gets pinched in the column by the table, then it's going to just tear itself apart, which is kind of a nuisance. So I am going to need to get something else. I'm thinking, I kind of like this idea. I'm thinking I might just do 2 or 3 feet of this EPDM next time, run it down to the column, have some left over for, cut it so it's long enough that I can get all the way to the top of the column, and then another piece of this. This has got no tears. It does have some kinks in it, but it's held up insanely good. I'm going to put a couple links in the description where you can get the neoprene, which I'm not going to recommend, and the EPDM from McMaster, which I am going to recommend. Okay, next up is relieving the base, which you can see I have already done. I did capture some footage of that. I'll go ahead and roll it in now. I got several recommendations to try a jigsaw, a reciprocating saw, to drill holes all the way around the perimeter and then hammer it loose, which is kind of my least favorite option because I hate drilling. And then the Dremel cutoff wheels, which is what I ended up going with, and they did the bulk of the work. I did actually break it loose right at the end. The Sawzall, or a reciprocating saw, did help. The jigsaw got nowhere. But I burned up a blade on the reciprocating saw. I use the Irwin bimetal blades, and they'll go through steel tubing, no problem, but they did not like this cast iron. I also took a sanding wheel on the Dremel after I knocked this piece out and just touched it up around the edges, and that was just so if I have my fingers in here, I'm not going to get snagged on anything sharp. I'm not trying to make it look super pretty. You can see that I've got about 1 3/4 inch, which is what I was shooting for, so that worked out great. That should mean that I gained about somewhere between 1.5 inches and 2 inches. I'm not exactly sure yet. We're going to figure that out here in just a minute. But the other thing that I wanted to show you is I've recreated the stepper mount, which is underneath the shield. You can't see it yet. And basically I had to make 2 new standoffs. I'm not going to try to explain how these work. You'll just have to see them installed. And then a new mounting plate, which ended up being larger than the piece of material that I cut for it. So I got a little bit of a weird piece of material here, but it's going to work fine. It's just not going to look super pretty. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and unbolt this and get the new one all bolted up. I'll leave the camera rolling and we'll do a time lapse. How's that sound? Okay, so I've got the stepper motor installed. This screw down here on the bottom, this one must be out of alignment just a hair. It'll start, but it's super tight, so I'm not going to worry about that. It doesn't matter, this thing's rock solid. I have jogged it back and forth a bunch of times, and I found that I've gained about 1.15 inches, which is less than I kind of expected. But that's also with the way cover pinched down in the back. Now, if I lift the way cover up in the position you're seeing it in now, then I've gained an extra 1.5 inches. And I can't remember when I took this measurement with the 6.48. I can't remember what I had done with the ways, so I'll have to go back and double check that footage. Anyway, let me go ahead and jog it back and forth for you, and you can see how it looks. Oh, we can go more than that. Let's see, I'm going to jog it incrementally real quick. So that puts us at about 8.15 inches. Not too bad. There is a little bit of extra room here. I'm not really sure why. We didn't get that extra amount. I'm assuming that it means that the ball nut is still making contact with the front of the casting. And I probably could have taken out another 1/2 inch here, but yeah, I think we're going to call it good. So we'll come up with a better solution than this for the way cover. And yeah, I guess that's it for right now. Let me go move you over to the anodizing aluminum, and we'll talk about that for a second. Okay, for the anodizing aluminum, you can see everything's pretty much as I left it in the last video. The only difference is I picked up a roll of lead sheet. This is 32nd of an inch, 1 foot by 2 foot square. I think it was like 15 bucks or 20 bucks. I had a few people tell me I could use titanium as the, let's see, cathode is the negative, right? I could use titanium. Some people gave me tips on how to get a better result with aluminum, but from what I've read, and a few of you also mentioned, lead is kind of the industry standard, so I went ahead and bought it. I figure if I don't use it for this, or if it continues to fail, I'll melt it down and put it in Pinewood Derby cars or something. It's not really a big deal. A lot of you guys recommended Caswell, especially for chemicals. I'm not trying to make money on anodizing right now. It's more of just a curiosity, so I'm not really willing to spend extra money at this point if I don't have to. But if I get into it, or if I really want to try and dial in some excellent results, then yeah, I'll go ahead and get some of the, some of the chemicals that Caswell sells and really do a good job. Okay, and then the last part was about the power supply. This is a Dr. Meter HY5020E. That means 50 volts and 20 amps. Yes, it will do 1,000 watts. I've pulled heavy loads like that at high voltage, just playing around with it. I got a lot of people that recommended getting dumb, so to speak, 12 volt car battery trickle chargers. If I can't wring this out and get it working, then that's probably something I'll do down the road, but I really feel like I should be able to figure this thing out. And I did actually get a tip from Chris, who I've mentioned before. He actually found somebody else anodizing with his power supply, and they had mentioned that to set constant current and constant voltage, you have to have the power turned off, then set your knobs, then turn the power on, then dial the settings that you want. And I was able to find the manual online, and I printed it off. This is a Dr. Meter, but the manual I found was for a company called Maztec, and I'm not sure if Maztec just has the Dr. Meter brand, if they make it for Dr. Meter, or if Dr. Meter is just a total ripoff, which it's completely possible. But yeah, we'll do some more tests on that. And the number one thing people told me or suggested to me was what also made the most sense in my mind, is that I have some sort of connectivity issue, and hopefully now that I know how to set this properly, that will solve the problem. Also, having the lead should help solve the problem. And then also the last thing was, I was told that it's not ideal to just hang your part from titanium. You actually want to wrap it around it, or create a spring type shape and stick it in like a hole or something, so that it kind of has some pressure and is holding onto the part a little tighter, and that will that'll solve the problem in a lot of cases. So we'll do all of that in another video, trying out all the tips that you guys have amazingly provided to me. And I think that'll wrap it up. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in the next one.